I gotta finish reading this.
Dude, I haven't even touched my comics that I picked up last week yet.
I got my
I have a lot
new
of things.
trans.
I have a lot of things I have to
Yeah,
finish.
yeah. I gotta finish this. I
Oh,
got more trans. What?
so we're live. We're officially live.
Live.
We're
Man,
live.
well, all right. You can share that later.
I'll,
Um, okay,
attempt.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to BatYard's Finest, bringing you the finest of Batman and Superman and more in pop culture. I'm your host, Josh from Metropolis. How y'all doing? I got a new haircut. We'll go in order.
Hello, everyone. This is still Jerry, your Green Lantern from. Oh, well, I'm posing because I still don't know if Josh is taking the picture yet, and I'm trying to make sure it's casual.
Oh, I haven't done that.
Hi
Matt,
guys, I'm
ready?
Matt from Gotham. What's up?
How's everyone
Jerry there
doing?
posing like JoJo's. What the hell?
I am getting over a sinus infection.
Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, literally, it's just stuffiness and congestion. The worst part of it. Because everything's
Yeah.
like, I don't know if this is a headache or a migraine.
Yeah, and I just got my voice back.
Yeah, Matt sneezed wrong last night and lost his voice for about an hour.
No. My dogs ran away, so I had to yell for their fucking names like an idiot.
Which dog?
Sigh and Hope, the usual
Again?
runawayers. That was a few nights. That was like a week. I've been fighting my voice being gone for almost like 3 days. Like, was it Thursday? Thursday night.
Thursday through
Thursday.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's been a week. Oh, like a business week.
Standard travel time whenever you order a package, which is 3 business days with expedited shipping.
Yep.
So besides your dogs running away, Matt, do you have any BS you want to share?
BSBS, yes. Actually, the funny thing is this. I literally saw this like yesterday, and I kind of started diving into it today, for like 20 minutes on the PlayStation with my friend Steve. Finds out Marvel is postponing 4 major movies that are coming out recently. So we're getting postponed. Black Panther, not Black Panther, Blade, Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, Secret Wars, and supposedly a few other untitled movies that we're supposed to get. But it's funny because Blade was supposed to start not pre-production. No, yeah, it's supposed to start like production next month. But due they just lost their director, they had to go find another director. So they're postponing the release date to next year, and it's taking Deadpool's release date, not next year. I mean 2024, but it's taking Deadpool's release date, and then Deadpool is going for Fantastic Four's release date, and every movie's taking every other movie's behind its original release date. It's actually pretty funny.
That's a lot
But
of
yeah,
pushing back.
yeah, it's pushing back a
Yeah, what's the
lot.
reason? Why are they doing that?
Because they're right now everybody else's release date is getting pushed back. I'm looking at it because of Blade, because Blade's the head horse here. It's because the director is dropped out, so they have to find a new director. So they're pushing back other movies for Blade to come out, get properly started up again. So, but in my head, it's like could still work on everything else and get everything else properly out, but looks like their schedule is like Blade's first. There's a reason for Blade to come out first, so this is what we're doing. But in my head, I still don't know how Blade's gonna fit into the Marvel universe due to its content in its comics.
Are they
The
getting
same way
Wesley
they're making
Snipes again?
Deadpool fit.
I know it's just I like the thing is I understand the same way they're gonna do Deadpool, but it feels like it's gonna take away from that character so much that it's just gonna be a watered down Blade that's gonna be cracking stupid jokes and having barely of a
Oh, what?
motivation.
Why would they do that?
Oh,
Like he's gonna be breaking the fourth wall, like Deadpool.
No. He's just gonna be so dumbed down because Blade's character is so gory.
He's
His
very
comics are violent, adult. It's really adult content throughout that whole series.
Mm-hmm.
That's like if you go back to even the original Blade trilogy. We don't speak about the non-rated edition movie or the TV show they had, but that series brought out a bunch of it, and they still didn't push all the content that they could do in the comics, but they did enough of it to show us that's the universe they're in, and all those movies were rated R, I believe.
PG-13 or rated
Were
R.
they PG? All right.
It was one of them. And
I think that was
are still
probably
gonna have
two.
Marshala Ali do Blade?
Last time I knew, yes, unless he
Oh,
thinks
yeah.
he's waiting too long. The only thing I've been seeing is that the director's dropped out. He hasn't dropped out yet. I'm assuming if he's impatient, due to like being held up, he would drop out. But if he has enough patience, he stays around for a while.
I
Because
feel like Disney offered him a sweet deal, enough for him to
they
wait around.
They probably did, but like at the same time, it's like I get it. He's been waiting. He's been announced as Blade for what, almost a year now.
I think year and a half, maybe 2.
Yeah, so he's being really good with his patience with this movie being started up now. Like it was about to start up now, and now he's
Did they
being
start
postponed
filming
for
at all,
another
or no?
year. No, like next month was the starting of everything. They're in post. They're in pre-production, and they're going to actually get into the final bits of it and go into production next month. So,
well, hopefully it's not that long of a wait, and they can still maybe push it forward earlier than what they project. Even with the director leaving, that kind of sucks. I was looking forward to that, but I guess
the director was the guy that did all the Star Trek movies, the new ones, supposedly. Yeah. So I can't remember his name, but
was it J.J. Abrams?
No,
I know J.J. Abrams did the first Star Trek, and I think he did.
No, that was J.J. I need to look back because the guy they mentioned, he said he was on the Star Trek stuff. So let me go back and look before I ruin this again.
Yeah, he did. He did the Star Trek movies.
Oh, nice. And J.J. Abrams has done a lot of films that I like. Man.
Yeah, he's kind of hit and miss for me. I think he's a good director. I don't think he should write. I don't think he's a good writer.
Yeah, just leave the directing. I agree there.
Yeah, that's when you get Star Wars, the last, what is it called? Last Skywalker, the last of Force Awakens. What is this shit called?
The last Skywalker.
Yeah.
Skywalker. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try to touch his name. I'm not even gonna try to say this man's name because I know I'm not even gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna ruin the. I'm not gonna pronounce this person's name. Nope.
Go for it.
No.
Go for it. Do it.
DeMayo.
I've never heard of him.
He helped. This person helps. That's where I got the confusion because I saw it's a script writer, and this movie's been under several rounds of rewrites. So,
always a good sign.
That's yeah.
Oh no, never mind.
This person has helped work on Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, The Witcher, and its animation feature spin-off stuff and all this other, and Marvel Moon Knight. So Moon Knight supposedly got a positive reaction from audience. So I'm just gonna say this person did a good job. Hopefully, this movie does great with the rewrites.
Keep it up.
Now we just need to find a director.
You don't want to get cyberbullied.
Like the Mario movie. Thanks to Sonic.
I was gonna use that, you asshole.
Oh yeah, that new trailer came out.
Yeah, the new trailer dropped last week.
Because I was gonna talk about how a lot of people on the internet are saying Chris Pratt is not Mario. Jack Black as Bowser's good. Personally, I think he could do better, but that's just me.
No,
I don't think Chris Pratt makes a good Mario.
No.
They should have
What's
got the guy who's been voicing Mario for the last 30 years to do lines.
he's
for
in the
once.
movie. He's
Oh,
in the
yeah.
He's not voicing
movie.
Mario.
No, he's not.
If he ain't
He's
Mario,
voicing
he's
other
not in the
characters.
movie.
I know. It's bullshit, but he's voicing.
Who's he
the funny
doing
thing
in the
is,
movie then?
They don't name the characters. He's mostly miscellaneous characters throughout the movie. But the funny
He's
thing
probably
is,
gonna
he
be
has.
fucking Goombas.
But the funny thing is that he's voiced Bowser. He's voiced Luigi, Wario,
Mario.
Waluigi,
He's everybody.
He's like every male character that has a voice throughout freaking Mario's history.
Charles
everybody-
Martinet? That's his name. I probably butchered his last name, but I wanted to say it. So people know.
So yeah, he's in the movie as miscellaneous characters. And it's just crazy because all the characters that he's voiced all got actual actors, but like the main character is Mario that he does, so he should be dropped into the hot seat of Mario in this movie.
Just be Mario.
Like he's always is. But the funny thing is, I've been seeing people do like the comparison thanks to the trailers. Like Mario comes in, he's like, "Where?" Like something about the Mushroom Kingdom. It's like, "What is this place?" And they do there's a screen. What was it? A clip from the 1990s Mario with freaking Bob Hoskins saying, "Where the hell am I?" Like saying who did it better. And Bob Hoskins.
We all know
better,
Mario
actually.
swears like a sailor.
Of course, he's a plumber.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the animation looks really pristine. It looks really great. Just the voice acting is the thing that puts a bad taste in my mouth. It's not getting the original Mario and just getting, Chris Pratt and like these high A-list celebrities to do all these voice acting. When we have all these voice actors who are like trained in doing voice acting, and now everyone. It seems like they're really getting more celebrities as time goes on with animated movies. Like they're getting more and more.
It's almost as if they're trying to do what Ezra Miller's doing.
Oh fuck that! No.
What's Ezra Miller doing? Trying to kill people?
Kidnapping people.
He's getting the role of. He got the role of the Flash, and he absolutely butchered it.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah, he's still the Flash.
Butchering it. Yeah. No, but the thing is, what's that? I was watching because of Transformers freaking episode. I went down a good a good run on YouTube, just watching a bunch of old Transformers stuff, people breaking down the movies a little bit and seeing where they could like been better, where they could have fixed it, and like people looking at different designs of the Autobots and stuff. And there's a part where the main voice actors for Megatron and Optimus Prime were talking about how, like, yeah, we went down the lines and it's kind of bullshit because finds out voice actors for like standard like basically TV shows and video games, they all do this union setup, and a lot of people don't want to do the union setup, and so they try to wiggle around and find people outside the union and get actors instead of just going for them because they have to pay a certain rate for them.
Yeah, because with the union, they want a flat rate where
the proper flat rate
to underball you.
Yep.
Yeah,
so they rather go for
you're not a named actor, so we'll pay you chump change.
Crispy, I don't know if you saw it, but the English voice actor for Mob on Mob Psycho, he might not be voicing him in season 3 because he's with the union, and Funimation doesn't want to pay him his money.
I think you told me about that. I think you told me about that maybe a month back. But wow, that's bullshit.
That's crazy.
That's
if you change Mob's voice, it's just gonna be like it's gonna change the whole anime. It's gonna be what the fuck? Why?
Well, since Matt took my BS, I'm here to remind everyone that DC versus Vampires is officially at 9 out of 12, so we're 3/4 of the way done.
Fuck yeah!
Oh, nice. Okay.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I've got a bunch of comics that I picked up, new and old, because my comic book store just had their, I think, 45th anniversary of business. So they had a bunch of good deals.
That's nice. Anything like? Did they do anything big for their 45th anniversary, or is it just a sale?
It's basically like a big blowout sale. You could where people are getting comics and vinyls for like I think $2 and under for some really good ones. They had 10 free items free that you didn't have to buy at all just for showing up. I think one location even had like a small local live band playing like for a small set.
Okay.
It was, I do remember going to them when I was younger, but I'm like, man, I think it's been 45 years. That's crazy.
Damn.
What else? I feel like I had some other BS, but that was the main two.
I have one thing.
All right.
Apparently, there is talks that Henry Cavill, it's like continually building that Henry Cavill is going to be in Black Adam. Even The Rock's kind of like talking about it in like interviews. He doesn't like deliberately say that he's going to be in the movie, but he's like he's been on the sidelines for too long, and like basically he needs to be in the franchise, like in the universe. So there's like more and more talks that he's going to be in the movie. I don't really know. I don't really know when I don't even know when Black Adam comes out, to be honest. It seems like it's soon because like trailers are coming out.
I think it's this month. In like 2 weeks, maybe.
Really?
Oh, let me look it up.
I gotta look this up
because I thought it was like.
Oh yeah, it is this month. It's October 21st. Oh fuck. Okay.
Sure
it's next week.
Oh, I remember the other BS I have. Yes.
You evil man. It looks like you have an evil plan.
It is evil. It's very evil, in fact. I can wait. I didn't mean to cut Josh off, but looking it up made me think.
That was basically it. I guess now I have to watch Black Adam, which I don't really want.
So wait.
I hope Henry Cavill comes in the movie because I like him as Superman. I think he's a pretty good actor all around. He hasn't done anything as far as the projects I didn't think was pretty all right or good.
Yeah.
The thing is just.
No, I agree with that. I would like to see him again.
But at one hit, it just hurts me because it's because we hear the talk is Black Adam's gonna have it's Black Adam. Then we're gonna have the Shazam is gonna show up somewhere at one point or be in it, like do a thing. And then we're gonna have Superman's gonna be in it. We got these top 3 titans of fucking characters. And there are basically 3 gods in a room. And are we gonna have them as like mini cutscene bullshit like thing? Is like Black Adam's gonna fly through Metropolis and like Superman's just gonna be like, "What the fuck you doing, dude? You're going fast, dude.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing, dude."
Yeah.
Like Shazam's just gonna be the final cutscene shit.
Yeah, I'm worried about that, and I'm worried about like Matt was saying with them being 3 gods in a room, like just them pummeling each other to a pulp, and then. That's the whole fucking movie. Like, I don't need to see that either.
I've gotten to know
why.
Yeah, I am done with that.
We saw that in Man of Steel. Like,
that's what I mean.
Those 2 gods. Like,
I want Superman to use his wits a little bit more.
Yeah, give me an intelligent Superman.
Abilities. Yeah,
it's just the people have to write it that way.
We I can see we mentioned
it's like Henry Cavill can do intelligence.
Yeah.
Let's see it happen with Superman.
I agree with that.
It's like the other BS I had is so it actually fits in time for Spooktober. So I got a notification yesterday from Google that I thought I turned off years ago for Silent Hill. And it's a rumor right now. I can't confirm it, but allegedly the president over the studio that did the Silent Hill games back on PlayStation 2 says that more games are coming.
Okay. I never played really any Silent Hill games.
I watched somebody do a playthrough of one of the old Silent Hills, And that game is freaky as hell because the enemy would learn, like, oh, you like to hide in this room? A cowabunga it is, buddy. And they would just bust in the room and kill you.
Oh, good God.
So you couldn't just hide all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the aesthetic.
Wait, do you mean game or movie? Because the article I'm seeing here is that the Silent Hill film director, Silent Hill game, Silent Hill game currently in development, but they're stating that we're getting the movie and a game.
I saw games. I didn't see movies.
This is what the article that's stating to me, and it's a day ago. And then here's another article 8 hours ago. Multiple Silent Hill games in the works, says director. So that's probably the news that you got too.
Yeah, that's the one that I got. I didn't hear anything about another movie.
And then
I hope we don't get another movie. That second one was atrocious.
Well, we don't even know where they'll go. Would they continue from fucking 2, or they make a whole new franchise? That's
they have to make a new franchise.
I'll go with a new franchise.
They finished the Pyramid Head thing.
And Jerry, we have to use the Pillar Man that you've been just sending me like the last few weeks. And the nurses. Oh, God.
But I really do hope that Silent Hill makes a comeback. I think it kind of fell to the wayside because everyone just flocked to Resident Evil. When, Silent Hill, it's a psychological horror that you don't catch on to. And I always liked it about that. I haven't played one. I don't plan to play one because that game is freaky.
I
definitely think Silent Hill needs its time for resurgence to give Resident Evil a run for their money and make them do better games.
The thing is that Resident Evil is not good. They're not going to flinch because I think they should flinch because lately they've been doing remakes of their games. And if Silent Hill does come back with like the freaking sucker punch of the fucking century to them, it just it'd be nuts. But like the Village was not a bad game. That was a really fucking good game.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Stop playing for your hair, Josh.
I don't know enough about Silent Hill to have really much of an opinion. I just seen the movie because Jerry told me to watch it. Hi, Kat.
Jerry told me to watch it.
Yeah.
That's all the BS I've got.
Yeah. All right. So my last thing is like bullshit. So Josh, you have anything real that you want to talk about?
No, that was it. The only thing I had was that little thing.
I get to say my dumb bull right now that Steve wants me to ask Jerry. Something about he wants me to ask you, what's your thing about K-pop?
Oh. Tell Steve that I can't answer that question for
he's watching right now.
Steve, I can't answer that because of fear of my own safety. But I got you tonight when I get on PlayStation.
Yeah, you can answer that off the cuff. Yeah. We're not live.
He just wanted me to ask.
But that's everything I got. Fingers crossed on Silent Hill. Really hoping for that game.
We're gonna get a movie.
Oh, it'll be fun. All right. I guess that's all the BSBS. So I guess we're gonna move on to the main events. We are doing Horseman versus Horseman: The Legend of Sleepy Hollow versus Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. So we're going to talk about the 1949 short, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, directed by Clyde Gornami and Jack Kinney. I'm probably saying those names wrong. And I would like Jerry to discuss this classic.
This is the one I want.
Motherfucker.
Yes. So you said this is 49, right?
Yeah, 1949.
Because I thought you said 44. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So this is the 1949 early telling of the Headless Horseman. It is about a silver-tongued fox named Ichabod Crane who wanders into a sleepy town where he is, oogling and ogling women. He's educating the youth, but really he's just a bum getting a free meal by flirting with women. And then I'm not going to call her a Jezebel because Katrina was a nice woman, at least how she was depicted in here. But soon he falls in suit with all the other gentlemen in the town of Sleepy Hollow, and he has strong feelings of affection for I'm going to just call him a nobleman because I can't remember what he was. The wealthy man's daughter, Katrina. And his only other competitor for love was Brow. But Brow was steadily losing favor with Katrina because Ichabod was just so animated with everything he did and very sly because he took some roses out of a fucking pot in her own house and gave it to her. And I just want to know how she didn't think like, these are the same flowers I looked at this morning.
No.
Then things continue on until it is a gathering for the town at the estate of the wealthy man and Katrina. And it's basically just a huge party. Everybody's dancing, eating, having a good time. And then, obviously Ichabod's dancing with Katrina, and then Brow's just kind of brooding, just like, I'm gonna beat this guy up. And then he has the idea to use one of the women that Ichabod would see, quote unquote, really flirt and get a free meal out of because he's a bum. And he was like, oh, well, if I dance with her, Ichabod would be jealous and I could dance with Katrina. But that backfired horribly because that little 4'1" woman picked up this like 6'5" jack dude like he was a toddler and was just swinging him around.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then, of course, and then, Brow's like, okay, I've had enough of this. You're going in the broom closet. And he tries to make Ichabod fall into the cellar to no avail because he's too light on his feet. And so then Brow remembers that Katrina's father is a sucker for a ghost story. He loves a good, scary story, and he knows Ichabod is a coward. So he tells a horrifically graphic story of a headless horseman, going out looking for his head, but he'll take the first one he can see. And this, of course, scares Ichabod so much that he leaves the party early. No, he doesn't leave early. He leaves the party, and he is haunted by the visions of the horseman in the dead of night, and he is no longer seen. It is speculated, that he moved to the next town over, started a family, and so on. And then Katrina and Brow were married, and the story ends there.
Or he just died.
Or he died.
Yeah, you don't know. Or the Headless Horseman took him away. You don't know,
You don't know.
I want to start off by saying I thought Ichabod Crane was an absolute fucking vagrant. A complete vagrant. I like the short. I just think he was a vagrant. How you going to just come into town and be like, oh, he's got a little black book. And he's like, oh, your mom's good at making a pie. Your mom's good at roasting a hen and all this stuff. I'm like, you fucking creep. That is a predatory behavior. What's wrong with you, dude? You don't just take your 2 shillings to the general goods store and buy you some salted meat and cook it.
No. They gave him.
I'm with Jerry. I'm with Jerry on this one.
For being thankful for teaching the kids. But okay. So
what
here's
did
the thing.
Jerry teach them?
all the characters in this, all the main characters, Katrina, Ichabod, Brom Bones, they're all not like good characters. They're all like immorally not righteous, So
no,
Ichabod just wants Katrina basically because he wants her father's wealth, and she's kind of hot, but like he's more in it for the money. Katrina is playing both of the characters. Like she's playing Brom she's playing Brom to have him jealous of Ichabod, and she's playing Ichabod as well. I think she's just more infatuated with the Brom, to be honest.
No, she is. She is more because she's playing him more because she'll give that turn back. Like, you see what I'm doing right now? She was
He was
playing
doing it to
his
make him
fiddle.
jealous on purpose.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
She wanted that more than Ichabod.
And Brom Bones is just trying to scare Ichabod the whole time and like pummel him to the ground, basically. So all the characters are immoral, which is great. I love how like no one is completely innocent through this love triangle, and you don't even get to the scary horror elements until like the last third of the movie. Really, you don't even hear about the Headless Horseman until the Halloween party, and Brom Bones knows that Ichabod is superstitious. I wanted to ask you guys. I know Matt has seen this before. Have you seen this before, Jerry? Have you seen this prior?
I have not.
Oh,
I have not seen this or the movie like ever. This is
wow. That's amazing. Okay, that's cool. Because
I'll speak on the movie and why I've never seen that when we get there. But this, I've never seen it. Like, and I've even watched Aristocrats, and some of the older Disney stuff. But nobody I knew just ever played this one.
Yeah, I watch this every year for Halloween. Like, this is like an annual thing I watch. I think this is one of Disney's best animated features, just in general. I think the pacing is great. I love everything about it. Bing Crosby's a big thing about it. He's he's a narrator who, if you don't know, Bing Crosby was basically the biggest, highest American entertainers before like even Frank Sinatra, the Beatles. Like, he was like that generation's version of like the highest known like entertainer at that point. So like Bing Crosby was a huge name, and you wouldn't like really think like, oh, Bing Crosby sings White Christmas, like that wouldn't be the guy you would think like, oh, he's going to narrate a Halloween story. But the movie, it kind of, his voice does fit the short, like in a surprising way, which you wouldn't really think like initially. If you just think, oh, Bing Crosby Christmas and Halloween, like you wouldn't really think it works, but it really does. And I like how like most of the animation characters is done through physical conversation, or physical like body language. There's not really that much dialogue, which I like a lot. I think that really works for the whole animated short. I don't want to talk too much because I could just keep praising this, so I'll let you guys go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna follow suit behind you. I definitely I like the dialogue that we did get, because I'm a big sucker for the whimsical and like up and down, bouncy, just goofy cartoon style.
Yeah.
Because MGM's old set of cartoons, those were my favorite. And my favorite one that they did was always going to be Honeyland, with the bees just, dancing, singing, and doing everything that they do in the frames. And then one character who even though he was a dickhead and a kind of a douche, was Braun, because even like everybody knew, like, yeah, he's a jokester. He likes a trick. There's nothing wrong with that as an adult. Some people are just always like that. But when he started like, all right, Ichabod, I'm going to rough you up. Here's a pistol. Meet me at high noon. I'm like, okay, buddy, back off. You can get any woman in town. Stop falling for this trick.
I like with even in the beginning of the narration, like Bing Crosby says there's no mischief to his malice, like basically saying that he jokes around, he screws around, but he's not really like internally like a terrible person. He just likes to play jokes on people. Like, he's not really doing it to hurt anyone. It's just more like he's playing like fun and games kind of thing. I have more comparisons I want to get into, but I want Matt to talk. He hasn't really said much. So what are your thoughts, man? I know you've seen this before because we watched this in elementary school.
I think we did, and I believe we did a podcast with this already.
No, we didn't do a podcast about this.
I thought we did. I remember watching it for freaking an episode years back. Okay, so I'm not gonna let Ichabod's design. I'm gonna go to Ichabod with this. His design is he's an ostrich. He's a fucking human ostrich. The whole time he's walking, bobbing his head, freaking has this long fucking neck. The nose doesn't help. That's his fucking beak. And it's just walking like it's just an ostrich walking through. And then food is just this indicator I'm gonna be aggressive and get that fucking food. That's basically it. He's just I don't like it. This one, like watching this now more, and I just see more of like his like mannerisms. Kind of, he kind of annoyed me the whole time. I'm not gonna lie with his mannerisms. I'm just like, all right, yeah, you're gonna do that. You're just going after the parents now, doing this and getting the free food, like Jerry's saying. I'm like, we're going down this route with you.
If you're a poor like teacher, you would totally try to get
No,
out.
I get it.
No,
I get it.
I would do
I
the same thing.
100% know Ichabod was slinging his meat around to get some of
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Oh,
he
yeah,
wasn't teaching kids. He was banging parents.
No, I'm just I know exactly what you're saying. He's not a good. He's not like immoral. Like he is not like a perfect character. You know, I wouldn't say he's someone kids should look up to or anyone. But it's pretty true to the story. Like this adaptation is very accurate to the original book.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's super accurate. Like very, very.
Fuck, close. Ichabod is a dick.
Yeah, right. I thought he was just like really. I always thought he was more like he should have been more of like a timid fucking person that just like all this other shit. He wasn't that.
He's like this in the book, and they even use lines that are in the book, like in the songs, especially like the Katrina song. Like right before the Katrina song happens, it's like she's like ripe as a peach and like melting, and all those like very vivid imagery of this like fluffy, exuberant language, which is used in Washington Irving's writing, like. That like bits of that dialogue is in the book, like how he explains what.
I got that vibe.
Yeah,
because
so that's
the
like
way
directly
he
from
was
the book.
describing. Oh, what were you saying, Josh?
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, no, I was just saying it's directly from the book. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing because when the very bright words he picked to describe her, I'm like. I was thinking when I was watching this feels like it's coming right from the source material. Yeah. Because trying to describe this as a cartoon back then, I would have picked something very different. You know, maybe something kind of cheesy even. He went right for she was as fresh as a peach, as ripe as autumn's morning, and all this other stuff. I'm like, he's really trying to set up that this woman is the hottest thing in town.
Yep. So how big is this freaking book? Like, is it a good chapter book?
It's a short story. I was actually listening to the audiobook version while I was like on a hike. And like this Disney adaptation is very, very accurate. Like it's so close that like the only things that are like missing is the depictions of like the food that they're smelling and like the food that they're ingesting and like the atmosphere of the landscape, like of Sleepy Hollow, the town itself, just like how the language is like fluffing it out. But like you get all that with the images and imagery anyway. So like it's kind of funny to say like this kid one, the one made for kids, is like super accurate to the book once we get to this other version, the Tim Burton version, that it's like completely different. Like this is
that one's like
very
different from
really far away.
What this is. So yeah, no, it's very, very accurate. I do recommend if you guys get a chance to read the book or listen to it on audio, it's definitely worth a listen. Even with this cartoon, you could just listen to it with like the narration and stuff, and just pick up what's going on. You know, like I mean, but you don't want to do that because the animation and drawings are like just so vivid and just picturesque. Like you don't want to miss it. But that being said, with just the audio itself, like you know what's going on. Just like with the narration, Bing Crosby's like crisp voice, and especially they utilize Bing Crosby when he's doing like the singing part, when he's like teaching the students, the singing students, like in his choir, basically. Like he's like doing the bum bums and stuff. That's like a signature of Bing Crosby, like boom 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 boom. Like that's a Bing Crosby thing. And the difference in the book with it's not just he just sees Katrina on the street and he's like infatuated with her. She's actually like one of his private students for the singing. So that's how they get the connection, and then like he finds out like her wealth through that. She's like, "Oh, well, you're a private student," and then he sees her house, and then that's how he kind of finds out about all the benefits of being a Fantassel. You know?
Gotcha.
That's
because
like
I was wondering. I'm
that's
like
the only difference. Yeah.
I was going to say the attraction seemed like it just sparked out of nowhere. That was going to be like my very next question.
Yeah.
It did.
Because one thing I did want to compliment is the animation, and two of my favorites frames that they animated was the headless horseman throwing the flaming pumpkin.
Yes.
And then when Ichabod is going through the chase with the headless horseman, like when he's going to the gate and, he's being, spun around by the tree. He's trying to gallop as fast as he can across the bridge. I was like, man, this is where all the animation budget went right here. Because I could tell that they did a lot of frame work just from how fluid everything was.
So much.
Yeah. Another detail just with that is every time, like during the Ichabod headless horseman chase, every time you see Ichabod, like during the chase, his background is always blue. It's always like a cool color scheme, like a lot of blues, greens, And then once you see the headless horseman, the background's super red and super vibrant. So this was back in the day where they had to meticulously plan it out, like where they're going to have the animation frames, because they would have both characters on the screen at the same time. So like first you would see Ichabod, and then they would zoom out. It would be still the same background with the painting. They would zoom out, and then once you see the headless horseman, then like the red would take over. So like within the same painting, you have the blue, and then when the headless horseman comes, the red comes out, which is like a very interesting detail, which you pick up like the more you watch it. Like every time I watch this, I get more and more out of it, and I love the build up to just the headless horseman itself. I think it's like straight up like 5 minutes where it's like Ichabod and his horse just going through, the trails of Sleepy Hollow in New York, and like I love that image of the hands going over the moon, like it's just like a cloud of hands going over the moon.
Yes.
I love that.
I forgot all about that. That was good.
Yeah, and then just like everyday things are just scaring them. Like a tree with fireflies. Looks like it's gonna grab them, and then like you're relieved with the character and the horse. Like they're laughing, like, "Oh, this is silly," and you're with them at the same time because all this build up and all this tension. You're like, "Oh, nothing's gonna happen. He's fine." And then right when you're like kind of at that point of like you're relaxed and relieved and you're breathing, you're kind of a sigh of relief. The headless horseman comes up, and then fucking the bright hellish red comes out in the background, and then it's just like it's so intense. And I love just like, especially when the horse like jumps and you get that horn section, like boo-doo, boo-doo, like, and he lands. It's so cool. I love that part.
Yeah, that was something else I was going to say. All the sound effects they used were so on point. I'm like, I watched it in its entirety, but I definitely rewatched some scenes because
it
just wowed me so much. I was like, they really did such a fantastic job with everything. And it's like I said, I like the short. I just hate Ichabod, but everybody else is just
I'm the same feel. I love everything.
Katrina she knows what she has and she just wants to flaunt it a little bit. But I think we all knew she wanted to get with Braum.
Yeah.
And then Ichabod was just a little boy toy to make him jealous.
100%.
And then even between the
target.
banter between Braum and Ichabod going back and forth, I'm like, you can tell he knows, but it's the frustration of it all.
Yeah,
it's because Ichabod is just playing with it more. It's just the fucked up thing. It's like that. He's feeding it more like, yo, bitch, I got this girl. You don't got her. He's like, but she wants me. She wants me. She's doing this. You don't have a chance. Get out. He just wants to throw him away. That's all he wants to do.
Like he escorts her to her house, and like Braum is like carrying all this shit of like potatoes and flour. You know, that's when you actually feel bad for the character because he's like looking over like all this stuff like he's holding, and you're like, oh, you know what? I actually feel bad for Braum. You know,
I fucking hate it. I fucking hated that scene so much, and freaking Ichabod had to put it back up when he fell over. He picks everything back up and puts it on top of him again. And puts the potato on there and takes her away.
I thought that was funny. I loved all that stuff. And he's
I thought that was funny myself
all too. The potatoes, and then he grabs his nose, and then like he sees his eyes, and he's like gonna blow up like a volcano. Like he puts the flour on his face. I love.
And then he puts all the stuff back on him.
I was like, I hated it because like. He's just like it just all happened. Just a freaking just his dick, and it was funny. Yes, I will agree with you, but it's just like the situation. If that really happened, I would just feel so bad seeing that to happen. To someone I
agree with that. That's what I mean. Like every character is not righteous. Like they're all immoral. So like I don't really feel bad for any of them. You know, like. What happens to Braum? What happens to Ichabod? Like, I do feel a little bad at that moment for Braum because he's just, like, being overwhelmed. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. But it's, like, more comedic than anything. And then, like, when Ichabod gets his comeuppance at the end, like, with the pumpkin at the face and, like, you're kind of on his side. At least I am as an audience member. You kind of want him to succeed at the end. Maybe get the girl or, like, find a different goal and success at the end of the movie. But, like, he just basically is completely eradicated. You don't know what happened to Ichabod. And all they find is his hat and the horse is, like, on the side of the road. And you're like, what the hell happened to this guy? Like, it keeps it ambiguous. And you don't know if he's dead or alive, which I like. I think it's more fucked up, more interesting where you don't know what happened to the character.
I like that myself too.
Yeah,
just because it adds another air of mystery. Like, was he hallucinating the whole time? Was the Headless Horseman actually real? Because he was just, up and gone without a trace. And then some people are like, yeah, he's still alive. And others like, no, he's not. Everybody's, in a big disagreement. It's like, he's like Jimmy Hoffa. Where is he buried?
Yeah.
Obviously at the 15-yard line in the Giant Stadium. We know that for sure, but.
Oh God, no! You would bring him up.
I would like to bring up Jimmy Hoffa.
The thing is, I would like to say at the end is that the Headless Horseman was real for this story, and he really got taken away by the Headless Horseman because all the scenes, everything that we've been seeing, like he was riding the Horseman's freaking horse at one moment. And like other than that, would you not notice like you're on a stump at one moment if you're like actually hallucinating all this shit, or you're on your actual horse doing stuff because his horse was actually left behind at one fucking moment. So like this, I would say this is more the Headless Horseman was real, or they had a good double guy that would do a great job at being the Headless Horseman and scare the shit out of him. Because if you go by this is all Ichabod's like point of view at the end here. If you took off the fucking head and threw it at him, he would have not seen a person's face. If it's a proper like setup at night, you would not have seen a person's face. It would be a headless man still. So it could have been another guy that set him up at night to scare him away.
So here's what I find the two answers to be, and you could pick your own. It's kind of like you choose your own story. You pick your ending.
How
Which
dare
is
you give me
cool.
multiple choice?
No, well, that's like basically because they keep the ending ambiguous.
See.
So like either it's Brom Bones, he has a black horse, you know, he told the headless horseman story to Ichabod. He basically wants him to be run out of town so he gets the girl in the end. But the one part where you're like, maybe he is the real headless horseman is when Ichabod looks down his neck cavity and like you don't know what he's seen, but like his reaction is just like he's seen the most horrifying thing, like it's just like a stump of a head, and he saw all the organs that would be within the vertebrae. So I think the most likely reason, like within the story, is it's Brom just trying to chase Ichabod away. But I think the more fun thing is to say the headless horseman is real, and they even say that in the end of the film. It's like they heard, oh, Ichabod had children and he lived a happy life, and then Bing Crosby says, well, we can't believe such nonsense because we all know that the headless horseman really drove him away. So like they're really trying to imply that it was really the headless horseman, but. If you look in between the lines, you could just say, it was Brom the whole time.
But
especially
the thing
like
wasn't
he had
Brom
the
still
horse,
at the
he had
party?
everything.
I thought he was
Well,
still
it was
at the party when Ichabod left.
It's at the end of the party.
I thought it was like more Ichabod when he left. I thought he left more at like while everyone's still gathered there. Like, yeah, well, him running away, if Bronze did ride fast enough, he would have caught up. So you probably
Yeah, and like the horse that Ichabod has is a rundown horse. It's like basically on its last legs, and Brom has this stud of a horse. He definitely would have caught up. So
like that's the racehorse that's been racing for 10 years.
But that's what I mean. Like whatever you want your ending to be, you could pick it, and that's what I like about this story. Like you could make it your own.
See, for me, I think it's a mix of both because we saw how Ichabod's mind just went to the worst case scenario before we even got to the headless horseman.
100%.
He was like, he heard the frogs going, Ichabod, Ichabod.
Yeah.
He thought the branches knocking against a log was, horse hooves.
Yep.
So I do believe that he saw the headless horseman. But I think in all actuality, it was just Brom, and Ichabod's mind was just so, paranoid and fluctuated. When he looked down, he probably just saw Brom's jet black hair and was thinking like, oh, there's nothing here. He really is the headless horseman. And, his fear just drove him right on out.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have fallen in the river, which would explain, oh, well, we never found a body. And then that could also give us like, oh yeah, that's why he's got a wife and like 30 kids.
100%. It could still be just Brom trying to chase him away, but he accidentally died, and he's like, oh fuck, whoops. All right.
That's like the worst ending.
He could have got.
I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, that's like the worst ending, and he accidentally died because he thought he was like, what? That man didn't know how to swim.
I love how you could come to your own conclusion. That's what I love about this, because like none of us are wrong.
It's so open.
None of us are wrong.
It is.
Yeah. And I love the how they really depict autumn in New York. Like we're from upstate New York. Well, Matt and I are. And like, it just felt very authentic to the area. Especially with like the colors and the vividness and like the reds and oranges.
Oh yeah.
It just, and like during the dance party scene before they're, right before like the Halloween party at the Van Tassels, like they're dancing and Ichabod is dancing with Katrina and Brom's on the side of the side of the dance, like basically pouting like a middle schooler would be at like a 7th grade dance. And like there's all these pumpkins and like the corns, like the dried corns and all that. And like it like I felt like I could touch everything. Like I knew the 3D space around it. Like I knew where everything was. I was like, oh, I could sit on the bench there. I could grab that pumpkin. I could like I knew the spacing, especially for like a 2D animation. Like that's hard to really pull off. Like I felt like I knew what like the whole room, the layout of it. And I thought that was pretty impressive how they did that.
Oh, definitely. How they depicted autumn is also kind of similar for down here because I live in Tennessee and we're starting to get some of those fall leaves and weather and trees being barren now. Like just the other day, I was riding through the countryside and I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm right in Sleepy Hollow looking at all this just groves and just miles of just trees changing. We got red, green, yellow, brown. It's just so very, very vivid. And even like the food and vegetables that were still, last harvest of the season. I'm like, yeah, I can see the farms right now, just last minute pumpkins and pieces of corn, maybe a random potato or two. Just everything just super, super like fluid and vivid. I felt like I was right in the country of somewhere.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%.
You just I had the same feeling now. Like yesterday, me and my dad had to go out somewhere, and it's literally for Josh. Josh knows we're in, like right around Rhinebeck. Like we're on right on 9G, and we're like on like in this like back road of Rhinebeck, like back roads and everything. So everything's like what should be like one lane, but it's like two. It's still two. But like we're driving around and just me and my dad, we got my truck finally working, so I had to get a pipe for him. He has a project. So we're driving, and my dad just says, "It feels like it's really fall. All the colors is happening." And it finally hits me. I'm like the same way Jerry's saying. I'm like, it feels different. My dad's like actually says the same thing. Is like sleep. This is like the Sleepy Hollow crap. Like all right. Then we end up finding a house. Like we didn't get to the destination properly because we skipped it. It's so everything's behind the woods on this road, and we end up finding a place to be able to turn around in, and it's like this old like house that it's a winery tastery setup, but like the whole building it's just set up like it's just Halloween. Like it felt like you're just ready for freaking a party to go into because it's like it has the corn stalks, has the freaking pumpkin set up, everything you're describing it had. I'm like, all right, then we turned around and found the right place, but this like little side road, like Jerry's like saying, it's fall is here. It's the settings.
Yeah, even like it being set in like when is this like the late 1800s or 1800s? Like in this movie, like I feel like it's almost kind of like timeless at the same time. Like I feel like I could go there and like it wouldn't feel like a different time period. I'm like, oh yeah, this is just fall. This is just what it is.
No, definitely. It encapsulates so much of what fall is. Because what do people always do during fall? It's the last minute teaching for kids. Everybody's getting ready to have some kind of autumn party. And of course, without a doubt, you have, the drifters that come in town because it's getting ready to be cold and they need, someplace warm with food.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Do you guys have last minute things you want to say about Disney's Legend Sleepy Hollow? I have one thing, but I want you guys to talk first. Since I went first, I'm going to cut Matt off.
Did it? You did it.
I just have very few things to say. I want to shout out a couple of other scenes that really just wowed me. First off, when he's giving the private lessons to a few of the moms and how they extenuate his neck to show holding a note. I was like, oh, that's really kind of different. I didn't catch that at first. That was something I had to rewind. The entire dance and party, from the time Ichabod's there dancing all the way to the time he leaves, just how exuberant they put the detail into the shadows to really show there's even though this is, a lively place full of people, there's still a couple of like dark corners where nobody's just there. It's empty space. And definitely want to give them big kudos for how they designed the Headless Horseman. That's always my favorite design. I've never watched this, but I have seen, this depiction as far as imagery. And honestly, I'm probably going to add this into my Halloween, watch yearly, because I've already watched Pumpkinhead, so I got that out of the way.
Oh, nice.
And
this is definitely
even though I don't hate Ichabod. I just think he's a bum and a predator, and he got what he deserved, whatever it may be. But I love this a lot, especially because it's so whimsical. This is a perfect 10 out of 10. I would show this to anybody.
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
No, I'm gonna follow with Jerry with like saying this is probably my favorite redemption like design for the Headless Horseman. I do have other ones because I do like creepy ones. If I do want to see a proper Headless Horseman that's just more original, this is the one I keep like Jerry says, keep seeing around everywhere else. I love the animation for like Jerry said with the dancing, but mostly I love the animation just flat out for the ride back from the party. That's my best part of it.
Oh yeah.
If I could just literally just watch that over like what we just talked about, I'd be like that'd be my like one part I would like just keep constantly just watching because there's so much shit just happening with the noises and effects like we talked about. And yeah, my issue is going to be still Ichabod, but I do give this thing overall for the storytelling, the characters, artwork, how much work they put into it from like a later time period. Back then, I'm not gonna lie, back then Disney had fucking amazing art. It's just they knew what they were fucking doing well.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I
is
get
my
grossed out.
Yeah.
It doesn't make Disney movies nowadays don't make sense, and they cut away from like all the best artwork. They just now do CGI work now. It's just like, all right, here's another CGI to you, and we're just gonna do that. Like I'm so surprised they haven't tried to touch this freaking like piece yet and try to bring it up to date with like CGI bullshit or something.
Walt Disney's frozen head said no.
I hope they don't do that. They've done that with everything else.
Yeah, they have. But like, yeah. Other than that, like, this is like the proper time, like with like it has the best animation I love, and I will say the one thing I do like the only thing I do love about Ichabod, other than like for his character wise, that he's a fucking ostrich the whole time. But I do give it a 10. I probably would watch it again, or if someone does have it like on TV, I'll probably watch it and sit there and do that. But I kind of am curious what the other movie was bundled to this thing on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Toad.
That's a good point. Did you ever watch that? Did you ever see the Mr. Toad?
I don't remember. Thing is,
Toad.
I know Toad.
That
Frog
sounds
and Toad.
familiar.
I know Frog
Yeah,
and Toad, but it's definitely the wrong things. It's like isn't it it has a frog in the fancy jacket with a pocket watch. I know that.
Jacket, basically. Yeah. So I did watch this. I did watch the Toad part. So this was a double feature back in the day. So it was like Ichabod and the Adventures of Mr. Toad. The Adventures of Mr. Toad was a story from England, and they do the same thing where they take a book off the shelf of the library and they open it up and like, here's the story of Mr. Toad. And then after that, they have like a different narrator for that one, and then after that, they close the book, and then you hear Bing Crosby. That's why he's like saying in the beginning, "Oh, well, us Americans have our own tales of our own," and then like he opens the book and goes in. So that's why he's kind of like putting dirt a little bit in the Englishman's eye. But
Funny.
So it was a double feature, and I guess during times of war, during the World War II, they didn't have like enough funding to do like a full featurette. So like they did, what was the first one? Not Sleeping Beauty. What's it called? Snow White. They did Snow White. Well, like the first feature was like 39, something around there. That came out first, and then America was like in depths of the war, and then they had like no funding to make like a full feature. So that's why during a lot of the 1940s they would have like double features or like a bunch of like cartoons like combined into like one feature. So that's why this is like a double feature. The Mr. Toad thing's okay. I never watched it until like very recently, until like I think the past like 2 years is like when I first watched it. I'm glad I seen it. It's not something I would like put. No, it's good for what it is. There's a character named Mr. Winky, so it's good for just having a character named Mr. Winky.
This was a book, right?
I think what's that?
Mr. Toad and Mr. Frog was a book, right?
That's what I remember.
No,
There's
that's
short
later.
stories.
That's
later.
All I
our
remember.
era.
Yeah,
that's
okay. Because I was going to say,
All I
when you
remember-
described that, I
yeah.
remember my mom having this book and reading it to her class.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm like-
that's a different story, I guess. I don't know if it has any correlation. I don't think it does. But
Well,
no, that's
with
funny you bring
Mr.
that
Frog and Mr. Toad, they look like they're just like standalone, like hangout guys. They just sit around like in like a village, and they're those guys. There's the grumpy Toad and the frog that's just like, "Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to hang out,
Yeah.
bullshit with you, start some shit, and then walk away
Yeah.
from you."
Yeah, Mr. Toad in the animated short is like very exuberant. Like he's always about the next best thing, like in technology. In this, he's like really gamed
Was
up
Nikola
for
Tesla?
a motor car. He wants a motor car, which is like the next best thing. And then after that, he wants a plane. It's worth watching for the animation alone. But the Sleeping Beauty, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is so much better. It's like, anyway, to get off of Mr. Toad, there's one thing I want to mention. Well, two things I want to mention. The background characters, they're very simple looking. Like, if you notice, every character has a round nose. And Ichabod.
They have a lot of the similar features.
Yeah, they're all like very similar because they didn't want anyone to be distinct compared to Ichabod. You know, Ichabod had to be the weird, lanky ostrich, like Matt likes to call him, that really stands out. And like all the other background characters are just like, you know, they're unique, but they're like kind of similar in the same way. They don't really stand out as much as Ichabod does. Like Ichabod's the only one with a pointy nose. Everyone else has a round nose. So like that's why they kind of drew him like that. Like they all have their unique personalities, but Ichabod's the one who's like really looks weird.
He's a bird.
You know, for design. Also, there's a lot of similarities with this and like Beauty and the Beast, just with like the Brom Bones character. It seems like they pulled a lot from that character.
Mhm.
And Gaston, you know, he's like the hero of the town. He's not really a villain, but he is at the same time. I guess Gaston's more of a villain than Brom Bones is.
Gaston cornered the egg market of that village and forced them to starvation. He is a dictator.
Wow.
If I did the math
No.
on all the eggs he was eating. This man should have died from protein overdose.
Oh, with 12 dozen eggs, and now he does. No, wait, no. 4 dozen. He eats 4 dozen eggs when he's a lad, and then when he's a man, he eats 5 dozen eggs to help him be the size of a barge.
That's so many eggs that the chickens would die from egg production. He's a dictator, and they're letting him get away with it.
Well, that's an argument for another podcast. Gaston equals
was trying
games.
to-
Steve, I definitely agree with you. Gaston
There he is.
By the way, Gaston is my favorite character out of Beauty and the Beast. He's my favorite character out of the whole movie.
Oh shit! No. Just...
And another similarity, like when they're singing about like how strange Ichabod is, like who's whatever they're singing. Ichabod, what a name, ba 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 da ba da da. And he's like reading a book, and he's leaving the town, and there's like he's like very superstitious, which is setting up like he's like bringing the black cat like underneath the building, like he's trying to get rid of that. He almost walks under a ladder, but then he corrects himself. He's walking out of town. And another comparison with Beauty and the Beast, Belle is like the odd one out of her town, and she's reading. Her face is in a book, and she's like walking out at the same time while they're singing about her. So they definitely pulled a lot from this for Beauty and the Beast, which is like pretty interesting to kind of compare.
So you could say that Beauty and the Beast is just a better version of Ichabod and Brow.
I wouldn't say it's better, because I think it's like apples and oranges. Like, I wouldn't say it's better, because I like this a lot. You guys gave it 10, so you can't rate it any higher.
I give it an 11.
We can go lower.
So that's all I wanted to say. The last comparison about Beauty and the Beast. I also give this a 10 out of 10. I watch this every year. Highly, highly recommend this. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It's like one of Disney's best animated features, I think. Especially, I think the runtime is perfect. It's like short.
Yeah, it
encapsulates
everything. Don't need anything longer drawn out. It's boom. Ichabod, Brow, hot girl, confrontation, done.
Yeah,
and there's no freaking voices throughout the whole thing. There's mute mostly. There's only narrator talking most of
and there's little talking.
Yeah, big
like 4 songs.
And you still get the picture right. Like, hey.
Yeah. So wow, 10 out of 10 all around. It's not a first, but it's a rarity. This is a rare.
It is a rarity.
Rare emotions when we all
will match scores, but I don't give 10s out very easily. You gotta allow me.
I give them out only when there's old animation. You're lucky.
or radio shows.
Or very bad movies, not just.
So we're gonna move on to the 1999 Tim Burton's. I wouldn't even call this, I guess, a classic. Maybe that's kind of stretching.
It's a film,
but it's a movie directed by Tim Burton for 1999, starring Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, and based on the story of Sleepy Hollow, obviously. So Matt, would you like to discuss Tim Burton's version of Sleepy Hollow?
Okay, so with this one, I'm just going to try to make it quick. So basically, no, I'm not going to lie. I have watched this multiple times. Me and my dad do watch this movie. We do just like watching it because of like how it is. We love Tim Burton shit. So, what's it called? This movie is a weird movie. It's, if you don't like Tim Burton, what the fuck's that noise?
Sorry, I'm trying to clean my tube.
You're opening a beer in church. Right now. Okay, no, but if you're not a big Tim Burton fan, you're not gonna like the vibe of how this movie gets portrayed and how the story goes onwards. But it's basically a murder mystery movie that happens with the Sleepy Hollow story on top of it. So you don't get the whole Ichabod's a teacher vibe. He's more of like, I work in a morgue, and he slowly becomes a detective throughout the whole movie, and he is trying to understand what's going on with these murders that keep happening, that like people keep losing their heads. these very important figures in this town, and as he's solving it, he goes onward, figuring out, and he does end up find this woman that is like kind of like a love interest, but ends up being like cussed on his gains. Just seeing that now. Thanks, Josh.
Sorry.
But he doesn't like fall in love with her. He mostly works with her throughout the whole movie, and they end up finding out like there was like the background of the Headless Horseman was that I believe he was a soldier that he was like a warrior soldier, like something like that died, and he was buried in this one spot, but his head's been taken and being used for witch like rituals, and he keeps coming back to life every time of the season to reap his havoc, and what's it called, takes on with this whole thing, and like they end up getting to the point of finding out who's doing the controlling of the Headless Horseman, and they end up getting back his head to the Headless Horseman, and Headless Horseman was able to take up basically his revenge for not resting properly and drag the bitch to hell. Basically, that's what happens at the end. But he takes on like his vampiric and like face to this ending with his character, because they don't describe as the main person that's Christopher Walken's as a vampire. He's not a vampire in the beginning until the end. You get like this vampiric teeth style thing.
I don't think he is a vampire. I think he just
no, he's not. But it's just the design is like how it's like a strange, but he doesn't have that in like you don't see that in the beginning when we start talking about the character's real backstory before it turns into the Headless Horseman. But yeah, it's like it's a weird collaboration with it. This is the character I kind of wanted Ichabod to be more like the timid styled, not like this like go getting I'm gonna bitches and get some shit going on here. I was expecting him to be more timid and learn everything this way, and not like be like actually like threatened by this gentleman like trying to get the girl that he knows he's supposed to get at the end. And all this other stuff that we got from the cartoon. I was expecting like Ichabod to be really timid. Not
I get that.
I think that's also pretty fair.
The whole rest of the movie is not what I was expecting. But the character of him being timid, don't know what he's getting himself into, that's what I'm getting. Like that's what I was expecting more of him. And that's what I do like about this Ichabod.
Like I said before, the Disney Ichabod is very accurate to the book. So like
I know. Yeah. But I'm just saying. To me, this is
change the book.
What he wants.
Yeah, you changed the book, man. Go back in time.
I will. I got a pencil sharpener. I got it.
Oh God.
Oh God. That's a shout out.
Yeah. So the big difference between the Ichabods, the big difference between the Ichabods is played by Johnny Depp. First of all, which is he's not a bad looking guy. He does not look like a scarecrow like in the original source material. No. And he's not a schoolmaster. He's like a investigative
constable
detective.
So he's like a private investigator or something.
Yeah, exactly. Where it feels like to me, it kind of comes out of nowhere. He's like living in New York City, and in the book, he's originally from Connecticut. He's not from New York. Washington Irving is from New York City, who's the writer of the story. Anyway, he's from New York, and then like Christopher Lee's like, you're going to Sleepy Hollow for some reason. And they just kind of send him on his way. It kind of just seems like it was out of nowhere. I don't know if you guys felt like that. I was like, oh, okay.
It definitely. Watching the short to the movie, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. This is not what I like. No. I liked it at
No.
the end when they showed New York fucking snowing. That's always cool. But I'm like, no, this isn't. Take me back country road. Take me home.
Country road.
Take me home. You place not alone.
I will say this: I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan through and through. But while I did like his Ichabod being, the more timid kind of, what the hell am I doing here? I didn't too much care for it on some of the scenes. He felt, well, this was also young Johnny Depp, so he didn't have too many movies under his belt then. But he felt, jagged. Like it would be a scene with him, and then it'll do a cut, and it'll just kind of focus on him. I'm like, this is weird. It's like he doesn't know what to do to fill that empty time, if that makes sense.
No, I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's what they're going for with this character, because this character is more like I'm like explaining it, because he was like more timid of a character, and like he kind of feels like he's slowly learning about what he's doing. So in his own head, he's trying to make himself look professional, but at the same time, he's making himself look like an ass because he doesn't know what he's really doing, because he's learning on the job as well as doing the job. And nobody's really doing things with him, and he's taking wild guesses. So it gets more just like I feel like Johnny was doing a good job trying to figure out how would I feel being like, what's it called? Like a actual person that's brand new on the job, technically to this sorts, because like how often, like I bet he didn't do murder mysteries in this kind of a sort where he's trying to figure out people getting their head chopped off and like doing this in some kind of cornfield in the midst of everything, and he's just like, I'm used to being in the freaking city. That guy got shot. That guy got like taken there. This where this, and like it was easier to solve maybe than everything else is like additional adds to it, including what's it called? Like Johnny Depp's been in the circuit for at least since like what was it the first time. Yeah, since the first Nightmare on Elm Street, I believe that's 1984. He's got a decent
he did
15 years.
He did Edward Scissorhands with Tim Burton and
wasn't that the 90s? Like 90s?
Yeah, he did Ed Wood and Tim Burton before this movie. I mean, Tim Burton. He did Ed Wood and Edward Scissorhands before this movie. So they already had a
good grounds.
I think they're trying to go for like almost hokier acting, to be like reminiscent of like older style like horror movies from the era of like Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff, and maybe even further with like Christopher Lee's version of Dracula with the Hammer films. I feel like the style is very reminiscent of the Hammer horror films, like with Christopher Lee and all that, because the blood is very vivid and very red and very fake looking. And it looks like the blood from like 70s horror movies, and I think that's what
it looks like
paint they're trying to go for. Yeah,
it looked like
which
paint.
Is not a bad thing.
That's
I like how it looks. It's obviously not real, and I think that's the best attributes to this movie is the aesthetics and the atmosphere and how the look of the movie. The storytelling is a little something else.
It's a little
so-so for me.
Yeah. I think I'm into
like
it.
Some of the...
Wait, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, some of the scenes I'm watching, I'm like, this is kind of putting me to sleep. Like, you got some good stuff, and then you're kind of boring me.
No,
here.
I felt like
it's
that
kind
too.
of like it gets repetitive a little bit in the midst of it.
It definitely does. Like in the middle of it, I feel like the beginning. I like the setup, even though it's different. Like him discovering the body in the Hudson and all that, and like even though it feels a little bit rushed that he's going to Sleepy Hollow, it's like whatever, he's going. We're getting to the main point. I like the beginning setup, like where he's kind of discovering the bodies and he's looking into it, and he takes the cadaver and he puts it on a table, and Emperor Palpatine's like, "This is most unorthodox," and he's like, I need to operate on this body and the blood splattering in his face. Like, I like the gags that they had. And I think towards the middle, once it becomes like this whole conspiracy about like who's screwing who and who's controlling the headless horseman,
Yep.
like that stuff
Yep.
was not interesting to me at all. Like, I did not care about it. And like once you kind of figure it out, it's like, all right, I'm not really that surprised that it's the evil stepmother, even though she like supposedly dies. But the ending when the headless horseman's like chasing them, I was into. I think it's really the middle is like where it's really lacking. I think the beginning's pretty good and the ending's pretty strong, especially when the headless horseman's like chasing him around. Like, that's the fun stuff. But
If
after
if we didn't have like the politics in it, but like that's the thing.
yeah,
There's so much
that's-
politics
threw me off.
setups. That's
I
where
didn't
we're getting
care
the
about
slow
any of
part in
that.
the middle.
100%.
No,
100%.
like if it was more like
it.
they claim this as like a more of a smaller town. If it was a more of a smaller Sleepy Hollow, like we had in like the cartoon, and we didn't really have like that maybe noble people, like rich people everywhere. Like in this Sleepy Hollow, like you tripped on a rich guy, like
Yeah,
that's his
everywhere.
name. He owns the milk farm over there that makes $20,000 million. All right,
Yeah.
this guy's over there.
No, I definitely agree with
and
you.
one thing that definitely, like, I understood it, but it did. I'm like, I don't care about this at all. Is his backstory on, when he was a kid? I'm like,
Oh, the
okay,
mom
he's
stuff?
obviously,
That was so weird.
like when
I didn't like
I'm
that
like,
at
this
all.
makes no sense. I'm very uncomfortable. I need an adult.
I felt like that
That's
too.
Tim Burton, though.
And the kid looked kind of weird. Like, no offense to the kid. He had a weird, like, smiley
The
face.
helper?
He looked like he
No.
got fucking swirlies growing up.
He looked
Like, it was,
he looked like
I
a
felt
doll.
really bad.
Johnny Depp's character Ichabod as a kid, he looked kind of funny.
Okay.
And then his I feel like with the mom, they kind of over sexualized the mom, and it felt fucking weird because like he's reminiscing of like the memories of his mom, and like her tits are fucking just out, like yeah, they're just out in his face, and like you see him you see him looking at the mom, and he has a smiley face. I'm like, you're not looking at your mom. You're looking at her rack right now. And it was fucking weird. And I didn't like it. It just
Another
felt like
thing
he
I
was
thought
just
was
staring
weird.
right there.
What was she doing in the field of flowers? Just like a hippie. She was.
Oh, she's flying. She was flying too during that scene.
No, that was awful. And then the thing when she's in the Iron Maiden and she just pops out like a Jack in the Box, all bloodied and crap. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything with the Sleeping Hollow or the Headless Horseman?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, right when they even did the thing with Brom Bones and like kind of love triangle. They just did they did the scene with the bridge, and he crosses the bridge, and Brom is like pretending to be the Headless Horseman, and Ichabod like passes out. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is direct homage to the Disney movie where Brom is chasing him down the bridge, and at first you get the frogs, you get the same thing with the frogs repeating his name, Ichabod.
Yes, I did notice that. I'm
that.
like, okay, so they're paying a little respect to the original movie.
Yeah. So they pulled that directly from the Disney animated movie, and then right, like after that, Brahms' version of the Headless Horseman posing like throws the pumpkin directly at the camera. It's the exact same angle. So like I was like, okay, so they're at least paying respects to the Disney version, and it just made me feel like, oh, Tim Burton just wanted to make that. But I'm like, that was already made, so like you didn't have to do that.
Now, one thing I absolutely thought was amazing, even though I was like, okay, I think this is goofy, but I do like it. is the setup to control the Horseman. You need his head and to perform a
Yeah, that
ritual.
makes sense. I do like that. Yeah.
You know, it adds another layer to it adds another layer to the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Like, okay, so the Headless Horseman is basically a vengeful revenant that anyone can use. And then also the fact that the stepmother and the other lady are both related. Although I did piece that together because I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not too surprised by that.
Yeah.
And then when the one thing I thought was very out of pocket was when the what's his name? He was real scummy looking. He was the dude who got shot in the townhouse or the church or whatever.
Dude who got shot?
Because he was the one who was boning the stepmom.
Oh, and the
Oh
tree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
the guy from Ferris Bueller?
Yep.
I'm like,
what's his name?
why do we need to see them banging? And why do I
That's
need
another
to
thing
see
I
her
was gonna
cut
say,
her
too.
hand, smear it on his back,
I
and
know.
feed it to him? That ain't right. That's not right. The doctor banging one of the servants, that ain't right either. I'm like,
Yeah.
why do I need this banging here, Tim Burton? I'm cool seeing decapitations and the fact that you're also showing the vertebra of the severed head. I don't need the banging. You have enough of a movie without the banging.
Yeah, I did feel like
Yeah.
that too. Like it was like weird. That's what I mean. Like getting back to like the mom sequences and like that, what that you mentioned. Like it was like weirdly sexual, where I felt like it didn't need to be. It didn't like serve a purpose to the story. Like him reminiscing about his mom and like her boobs are out. Like it just like felt weird and just like got under my skin in a wrong way. I'm like, it's his mom. Like maybe like have her have a higher dress. You know, she could be pretty, but she doesn't need to really be stacked like that. You know, like I don't think that's
like
necessary.
you could have given her some sapphire blue eyes or something. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Like that wasn't. Yeah, it just felt weird. All that stuff was weird. I definitely agree.
But
with you.
enough of the weird stuff. I did like the actor that they got to do a lot of the stunts for the Horseman. He blew me away, honestly. Like whenever I heard like the hooves stepping. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to get a very excellent scene of whatever's about to happen.
Yeah, definitely the scenes like where the Horseman was there, like chasing, pursuing them, was the highlights of the movie for sure.
The guy who did that, he could have basically had the movie be about him because everything he did was good. From when he went around beheading everyone that the stepmom wanted, even to the small fight that he did with that one guy, I can't remember his name. And Ichabod's telling him, like, no, you don't have to fight. We can run away, be safe. And then he gets fucking bisected. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. I kind of like the backstory of the Horseman, how he's like part of like the war and he lost his head because like I think in the original story I think it's because a cannonball hits his head. In this they like just decapitate him because he's been cutting everyone else's heads off. I thought that was cool. I don't Christopher Walken in general is just funny, and him as the Headless Horseman just going it's just like takes me completely out of it, and I just see Christopher Walken yelling. You know, that's what he's doing. And it's just like, that's not why I imagine the Headless Horseman to be when he has a head, to be Christopher Walken.
You know, the funny thing is, I never knew that was Christopher Walken for so long. I didn't know, like, I know Christopher Walken in, like, here and there movies, not a bunch. And I was watching that when I was younger. I never knew that was Christopher Walken.
The only movie I know Christopher Walken's from is 7 Psychopaths, and that's it. And the same thing happened.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
this dude is too funny looking for me to take him seriously.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% am with you there.
It's the way he talks sometimes. It's just like,
It's his face. His cheekbones sit too far back.
What's that? And just
All
like
right,
him
hold on.
as the headless horseman just does not work. It just does not
No,
work.
it's like that's like giving Willem Dafoe to play freaking Kingpin.
Yeah,
I
no,
hate it.
you're pretty much right. Yeah, it's not good. And then like with the
you can do it,
over
but
exaggerated, like serrated teeth, like he might as well, like Matt was saying, be a vampire. He might as well be a different character.
I was thinking
Like,
the
why
same
do
thing,
that?
and Matt beat me to it. I'm like, he's basically trying to be Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Yeah.
but it's like a great value version. Not even great value. Whatever the next step under great value is.
Yeah.
oh my god,
Right.
here's the phase that Josh was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he bit the chick's lips. I'm like, why are you eating her lips? You've never been a cannibal. This doesn't make sense.
It was pretty weird. So the stuff I want to say that I liked, I said everything that I didn't really like, but I think the child actor who plays young Masbit
Awesome.
is the best
Awesome
actor in the
dude.
movie. I think he did I think he's like the star of the show. I think he did a phenomenal job.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like that kid actor. I should look
Like
up his
everything
name.
he did, so first meeting Johnny Depp, even all the way to helping him, like he has a musket, and he's learned enough. Like, okay, black powder goes in, then your cloth, then you know the ball, then you got to pound it all down, and then I think he hit the headless horseman too, didn't he?
He shoots. Yeah, I think he does shoot the headless
I
horseman.
think
Or,
he
like,
does.
he
I think he
shoots
shoots him
Even
in the
if he
shoulder
does,
area.
the fact that he knows how to shoot a musket of that caliber at such a tiny frame is pretty damn good.
yeah, he saves them at the end of the movie. Like he shoots. No, he hits the stepmother in the head or something like that with the musket. I don't know. He does something, but he's actually useful in the story. And I thought his acting wasn't like hokey. You know, I felt like Johnny Depp's acting was a little hokey, like you were saying, Jerry. And I think he's kind of doing that on purpose. I think it is like kind of a gimmick, but I feel like this kid fit like a good balance of like what universe he is, and he's like believable enough, but like he knows that he's like in a make believe world at the same time. I thought he was the best actor in the movie, to be honest.
Oh, easily.
His name is Mark Pickering, so I just wanted to give him
I'm trying
a
to
shout
find out what other movies he's in.
Tim Burton with weird stuff equals Quentin Turkin. What is that?
Turkin. I don't get that
What?
joke.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what Quentin Turkin even is.
So his first movie was Sleepy Hollow. That's his first movie.
Good for him. He did fucking awesome. He's the best actor in the movie.
What else?
I don't understand what that means, but
Unblocked.
what was I finna say? Right, the tree. I want to talk about the grave that they made for the headless horseman.
Okay.
And how the fact that he turned into this distorted tree. And then, you know, obviously there was the theatrics of it, but at near like the base ground, there was all those roots essentially covering the portal to hell where all the other heads were.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was such a very unique way to show like this man was evil in life, and even in death, he can twist the world around him and contort it to ugliness.
Yes, I do.
I thought that was a really interesting thing. It's a very small thing, I know, but for me, I'm like, it really, you know, hammers the nail down on this person being absolutely the worst of the worst.
I like
Yeah.
about the tree part is when Johnny Depp's hacking away at the tree and he rips away the bark. It looks like flesh. And it's not bark. He's really ripping away stuff.
Yeah, I like
And like we see the blood coming off of it too. And then we get into like what Jerry said, like the heads are in the freaking tree. And I'm like, all right, this thing's more of like this is more than a tree. You get the point of like what's going on. Like Jerry says, the portal basically the fucking hell. So it's a neat way of like they're doing this whole thing. The tree is an actual living organism of the headless horseman as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with that.
And some
It kind of opens your mind, like, oh, there's another dimension. Like you don't.
If you
It
think
just like adds more to the story. Yeah.
if you think about the headless horseman's corpse was the seed that grew that fucking tree, probably the setup.
wouldn't doubt it. Something else
A
that
little
I
bit of voodoo.
liked have excuse me. Something else I like how they utilized was Katrina this time around, since making her more central to the plot. Like, okay, this is directly involving your dad and your stepmom. Okay, that's cool. I wasn't expecting her to be putting up all the, especially after the first kiss, she and Ichabod share. I was like, oh, maybe she'll show up back on screen and give him the courage he needs. But she was actively putting, protection spells and wars around him to protect him from evil. And the particular one that she used under his bed frame was the protection of a loved one. And it's like how she said before, I had a mind to give you my heart, which means, after their first kiss and probably maybe a little bit of, pillow talk like conversation, she was like, okay, I'm starting to swoon over this man. Perhaps I would like to, court him. And, I guess she also knew I'm not going to say from the beginning, but I'm going to say probably halfway through the movie, she figured out, yeah, my dad's behind this, and I'm at least going to protect this guy because I like him a little bit more than what I originally thought. And even at the end, when he gets shot by the stepmom, it's the book that her mother owned, of all the protection charms and wards that once again, she gave to him and inadvertently saving his life. Because, before Katrina, she was like, oh, Ichabod, let me use you to make my main squeeze jealous.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, Brahm is like basically a useless character in this. Like they kind of like set him up like he's going to
he
be
was in it.
boarded with Katrina, and then like he instantly dies from the headless horseman, and then she is instantly over it. It's like not even she doesn't even bat an eye. She's just like, yeah, he's dead. I'm into you, Ichabod. No, like it was just like nothing. Like it didn't even
I forgot
matter.
that was his name. I forgot that's even he was a character. I thought he was just a place in person, just for the shits and giggles of the movie.
That's what I mean. Like it doesn't even matter. Like he didn't even need to be in the movie, and it wouldn't change anything. And he's such a central point to the original story in the Disney version. Like you almost can't have a Sleepy Hollow story without him. But like they didn't utilize him in any significant way. Yeah, no, exactly. So
I like what Tim Burton did to change certain things about the movie because it did add certain dramatics that I think the Headless Horseman tale did benefit from. But certain things that he also did as far as creative liberties, I'm like, yeah, Tim Burton, this isn't really what you needed to do. Hopefully, you never do this again. But it's, overall, I don't hate I don't hate the movie. I wish he changed up a little bit of the small things because it almost made it too uncomfortable at a lot of points, like I said before.
I feel like that too.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like you said, I like how he switched up into his own thing because if he just kind of told the regular Headless Horseman story, I think we would have been like, oh, we've seen this, we know what's happening. I do like how there's like more supernatural elements, like the witches and like the witch and the cave. I kind of wish that was more set up though. Like the townsfolk were like, "There's witches out in the woods. Like, don't go out there." Like they didn't really talk about it. It's just like he just kind of runs into them and finds out like his answers, and then that's kind of it of that witch. Like it should have been like
just kind of there and forgotten about.
Yeah. I wish it was established with the townsfolk. Like, there's witches out there. There's ghouls. Like, there's more than just a Headless Horseman. But the Headless Horseman, out of all the things that are out there, is the worst thing. And you get all that set up with just that song in the Bing Crosby version. Like, there's ghosts and goblins, but the one who's worse is the Headless Horseman.
Mm-hmm.
And that was done in a song, and you get it. I wish in this they established a little bit more with the world building, with other specters, I guess.
Yeah, I agree without a doubt. Personally, I'm a big, lore and mythology kind of guy. So I was like, there's witches. Why didn't you set it up to where the stepmom was like, I tried every spell I could muster, every kind of, anything really. Hell, even another demon to say, to try to dissuade your father and all of this so I could amass this fortune before she got to the route of the Headless Horseman. Especially considering her mother was a witch, her sister's a witch, and the stepmother's also a witch. So you could have added in like an extra small layer of, we've had problems with magic over in this area before, but that's long gone now.
This just to, like an issue.
Make it just a touch more. What's the word I want to say? I guess just a touch more to fit the theme you're building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because you've got Satan, you have an undead killer demon. What's one more thing to add in? Just confirming that magic exists in this universe.
Yeah. Even if the town folks were like a little bit more superstitious, like, oh, there's shit out there, like it's not just the Headless Horseman, I think that would have worked. That would have helped. The ending with the windmill and how they set it ablaze is very, very reminiscent of the original Frankenstein movie with Boris Karloff, where they burned down the windmill with the monster still inside. And then continues on. Well, Bride of Frankenstein, you realize that the monster's not dead. In this version, the monster's not dead. The Headless Horseman is still
he walks out like a gangster.
Yeah. So, like, that was definitely direct homage to Frankenstein. I don't know if you guys picked that up. But, yeah.
I still have not had a chance to watch the original Frankenstein.
Was it last year we watched that one, Josh?
We watched Bride of Frankenstein last year.
Oh, Bride.
I think it was last year. I don't know. It was right before Jerry joined the podcast. I don't know. But I got to say, Bride of Frankenstein, original Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein is better than the original Frankenstein. But they're both worth watching. Oh, wow. But Bride of Frankenstein is that much better. For sure.
I know we're probably
really
going to get ready to wrap up. I just wanted to touch on a few more things that Tim Burton always does that are his signatures. Definitely his use of dark tones when it came to the Headless Horseman, and how he always set it up for the Horseman's gonna, just like in the Disney movie, the Horseman's gonna come from this thicket of pitch black woods, and you're not gonna know how fast he's coming, how slow he's coming, if he's gonna have the jack-o'-lantern head or not. And then, of course, even though I have a couple of hang-ups with Johnny Depp, I did enjoy him turning in turning from a coward into a somewhat competent police officer, detective, Magnum PI guy, and who else? I I can't say this enough. I love how Katrina this time around was so impactful to the story. Like, oh, here's Ichabod. We're playing a game. I accidentally kissed him instead of the other guy I've been seeing. I kind of think he's cute, but I'm not going to act on it. Like, in no instance did she ever act on her feelings. She kept it absolutely to a minimum. Like, even like the first time when she's sitting beside his bed after, I think the first time he sees the Headless Horseman, and she just gives him, that warm embrace of a hug instead of going in for a kiss. I was like, yes, this is solid, solid, solid.
No, I agree with you. There's a little bit more to their relationship than the other one, I guess. That's real. I mean, I said really every. Matt, do you have any final thoughts? What are your final thoughts?
With me, I'm just like, I'm not like, I enjoy this movie a lot because I watch this like almost every year. And it's like I like it because I like the one reason why I keep watching it every year is because I'm a huge fan of Johnny Depp, and I like Tim Burton movies, so I end up watching it every year because it's like a good like Tim Burton movies and Johnny Depp movies are always in a way always a Halloween time, like a Halloween time movie setup. But like this one's like the Headless Horseman, so like it feels like right to watch it during this time of the year. So that's like technically why I want to do it. And I like how like the character for like Jerry was it like I keep saying like I like how Johnny Depp's character for Ichabod is this way, and how Jerry's like, oh yeah, he did improve at the end. I do like how he gets a character like improvement instead of just being like in like the original story, he's just this guy that's going to town, and he gets his confidence boost is kind of like already up here. He like in this movie, he needs to get that confidence kind of boost and get to the point where he has to be. And I do like what Jerry was saying, like the toning of the movie. There's like the graphics wise, I do like as well, but I kind of wish they kind of like like they could have like changed up the Headless Horseman's design a lot more than what we actually got, because I feel like they overly kind of did him than what we should have kind of got, like his costume setup, even like Christopher Walken's vampire teeth shit. Like we could have went with some like simpler stuff, because back then we weren't like superly fancied with stuff. It was still kind of more basic toned, including he was a warrior. I wouldn't assume he would be. If he was a soldier, I wouldn't assume he would be that decorative of like that outfit he would have. Like I went back and looked. He had like weird patterns on his chest and everything. I would assume he would have like a different tone to it. But whatever, I feel like we were going more from like more of a unice like an England style design, because in their storytelling they do have more fancier flair to their costumes. But
No, they
and
don't.
like okay. You tell them that, okay? But overall, I do okay. I'll take if I would change one little thing out of the whole movie, I would definitely get rid of the sex scene at the tree, because we really didn't fucking need that. Unless they mention like, oh, it was part of a ritual to keep my bonds with the Headless Horseman shit, then I would kind of accept it. But at the same time, we could have worked around that setup. I mean, it was more of like a meaning to it than her just like, I'm just doing it on this tree where supposedly he lies. So it's weird. I don't know. That's one good change I'll take out of it. Other than that, I would. Jared, what did you rate? Did you even give rating? Like rating?
No,
Let's
not
do
yet.
last words. All right, what's your rating?
I have a few things that I want to finish tying up. I'll let you give your rating first.
Okay, I would say overall, I would give this at least like a 6 or a 6.5. I wasn't good. I'm not. It's not my favorite of a Tim Burton movie. I do enjoy it, but Tim Burton's down. Like, I have other favorite Tim Burton Johnny Depp movies out there than this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm a follow behind Matt. I'm gonna give it a 6.5, maybe a 7 if I further down the line I decide to watch it again. Like Matt said, I don't hate the movie, but this is definitely on the lower end of my Burton and Depp favorites. The
It's okay. It's okay.
the scenes with young Ichabod's mother, just having her boobs all out and all this weird stuff they were focusing on
It
with her
was
face.
weird.
At times, I'm like, this is kind of uncomfortable. Like, I would have understood it if they were like, oh, Ichabod's mom was a prostitute or something. I'm like, oh, okay, that does make sense. She's trying to, sell what she's got. And then the sex scene at the tree, I'm like, yeah, this is nothing but just trying to just show off. I don't particularly see how they could have used it to further the ritual outside of just animalistic nature. But I'm gonna stick with a 6.5, give it a 7.
Yeah. I basically agree with both of you guys. I just wanted to point out I like the fake cardinal. I like how fake it is. That's the stuff I like, Like I love the sets and I love how it's obviously not a real woods, but like it's reminiscent of like old classic Hollywood horror movies where it's like, it's not really real, but it's like dreamlike. I do like that stuff. The aesthetic and the setting is what is really the most strongest things to me in this movie. I would probably agree with you guys. I'm somewhere between a 6.5 and a 7 as well. I guess I'll do 6.5. I'm really glad.
Episode.
Yeah,
We're all in agreement across the board. Usually I rate stuff kind of all over the place, like high, low. This time I'm like, I'm going right in the middle.
Okay,
I'm really
so
glad that we all like the Disney adaptation. Like, I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh, I love this. I hope they do too. I thought one of us
whimsical cartoons. That was when I figured out that's what it was. I'm like, oh, this is perfect for me.
I thought one of us was going to rate this higher than the cartoon. I thought that was going to happen, which didn't, which I'm pleasantly surprised.
All right, we can always go higher. This is 11.
Yeah, when I saw it was Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, I kind of was a little apprehensive at first when I saw the year. I'm like, this was around the same time that Burton started doing the Batman movies. And while I liked them, they weren't super good, but they did impact my childhood.
This is like a decade after Batman. So Batman was 89. This is 1999. Yeah. So this is kind of when I feel like this is when Tim Burton was kind of slowly getting into the other stuff, like the Planet of the Apes remake shit, and like when he like started in the Alice in Wonderland remake. I feel like this is just the start, just the beginning. It's still like, oh, it feels like a real Tim Burton movie, but it's just the point where he's like leaning towards, oh, Tim Burton's not so great, like Alice in Wonderland fucking sucks. I don't care what you say. Fuck that movie. I don't like it at all.
I can't take you serious with the wig at all. When you're saying that, it fucking sucks.
It does.
Oh God.
So yeah, I think this is the tipping point. Like when when Tim Burton was kind of tipping off the scale a little bit.
Oh,
Because I love those Batman movies. I guess that's a discussion for another day.
But wait,
was
did Tim Burton do that barbershop one with
Yes,
Johnny
Sweeney
Depp?
Todd. Yes,
Yeah,
it did.
I that was a good movie. That wasn't bad. That was like later in the 2000s. I think it was like around 2000.
That was a later one. Yeah, that wasn't bad.
He's got a few later movies that I like, but this one was like,
I think this is just the beginning when he's starting to kind of go downhill a little bit. This is just this tipping
yeah.
point.
Well, he had a good run, like for that beginning time for him. Like, someone has to trip at some point.
Oh my god.
The way
What's
is definitely
Yamcha?
giving.
What is
Yamcha?
from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, I gotta look that up. Is this
Definitely not Yamcha. Oh god.
Oh my god. But
Okay, I
so
hate that
Josh,
big
are we
booty
doing
Danny's
our
kinda
guest
right
next
now.
week, or how are we gonna do it?
Oh no, the guest would be the 25th, which is
25th.
a Thursday. So it wouldn't. No. Yeah, it might. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look into it. I think we should be fine. I think you're fine
Right.
to say your picks, Jerry.
All right. This is subject to change. We have to coordinate with our guest. But just to give you all more time, just in case it is later,
it would be next week. It would be next Thursday.
Next week?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
we
you
could
guys
do
have-
an earlier one. We could do Tuesday if you want. We could do a double whammy. It's up to you guys.
I'm down. I don't care.
Let's do it. So I will be
All
making
right.
these guys watch The Mask episode 1 and The First Mask with Jim Carrey for the next episode.
Oh what? Oh
Bum,
fuck
bum,
yeah!
bum, bum.
That's a breeze. Yeah, fuck yeah! I could do that by Tuesday. Of course. Yeah,
Josh is waiting for a struggle. Like at the
I have to
3
find
days of
the
watching.
first episode because the link that I was gonna use, it did something where it took me to a whole different website about selling products, and I'm like, I'm gonna find a different
Oh
website.
man,
What kind of products?
it's not like the Ghostbusters one.
No, it was worse.
Oh god.
Oh, Jerry.
All right.
So
What do you get yourself
episode
into?
1 of The Mask and Mask the movie with Jim Carrey, not the remake.
No, it's the second
Okay.
Matt.
No,
Shut up.
we're not watching that. Okay. All right, interesting choices. So yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled for The Mask episode 1 and The Mask, the first movie with starring Jim Carrey, I think it came in '94. I could be wrong.
It is 94.
I thought it was
I'm already looking up-
95.
No, it's 94, and your
94.
animation was 95. You're literally 2
Okay.
years off from each other. Because I'm
So if
already
you don't
looking
want
up
to be
where the fuck I'm
spoiled
supposed to
for
watch
The
them.
Mask and The Mask, make sure to watch that for next episode. And yeah, I guess
You
we're
can watch
closing
it on
out the
Amazon.
episode. So 3, 2, 1. This is Josh from BatYard's Finest, sending you up, and away until next BatYard's Finest episode.
This is Jerry guiding you all with Green Lantern's light.
And I'm Superman's pal Matt, having us become super pals every episode. Oh wow, I haven't done that in forever, so give me a second.
You like had it and then you killed yourself.
I don't ate it. Like, I just crashed it. Ow.
All right,
I
become
should've done that.
Super Friends, one episode at a time.
That's
Goodbye.
one time. Thank you.